Lords of the Long Box. This week we got a special episode. We have Long Term Spec. We got a special guest. And is the special guest really the Black Knight?
Bust it. Shake and bake and pull it back.
Oh my God.
Hold on and get some, boys.
That is why they gonna be.
What's good, party people? Happy new comic book day to you. Welcome to another edition of Lords of the Long Box, episode 141. I got my man, Nemesis Prime. Say what's up.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, I just want to show off a little book. Someone said this is not a key book, Batman 357. We're going to talk about that tonight. No, not really. We're doing Black Knight, but someone thinks this is not a key.
Don't fuck with the DC, yo. And my man Otto is down for the count. My man DarkSide Jedi couldn't make it. So we got coming off the bench. We got your friend, our friend, Milton the Manimal. Say what's up.
What's going on, guys? Happy to be here. Happy to fill the big shoes of Otto and DarkSide Jedi. Just popping in for a little bit.
I don't know if they're big shoes, but they're big something, man. You know what I'm saying?
Both of them are big fellas. So
rotund. Hey, this show is brought to you by KRSComics.com. Go to KRSComics.com. Use the discount code of LOTLB to get 10% off any KRS Comics exclusives. The show is also brought to you by thegeekyswagshop.com. Go to thegeekyswagshop.com. Use the discount code of LOTLB. You get 15% off anything in the Geeky Swag Shop, including these beautiful shirts that we're wearing. Black. Look, we represented all three colors this time, man, because man, I was rocking the old school blue, man. So we got a busy week of news. So I'm gonna say what's up to everybody in live chat, and there's 93 of you. I can't. I used to be able to say what's up to everybody in the live chat, but there's just way too many of you in there right now, man. But yeah, man, we had a lot of news drop this week. This week we're gonna do some stuff about Moon Knight. We got some stuff about Haley Steinfeld, who's going to be Kate Bishop. That's been long spec for a long time. And speaking of which, we have another long-term spec list, man, already. But this one is only 6 characters, but could be about 8 or 9 books that you get a hold of. There's some wonky stuff in there, man. But let's get right to it, boys and girls. First off on the subject is, I don't know if you guys heard, man, but this fine ass girl is coming to Disney Plus, man. Yo, Haley Steinfeld. I always say Seinfeld like she's Jerry Seinfeld's daughter or something. But Haley Steinfeld is in talks, and we're pretty much hearing it's done deal now. She's going to be playing Kate Bishop on the Hawkeye Disney Plus series. This book has been hot for a minute. To be honest with you, I don't know why this book isn't hotter, but this shows that they're going to be doing the Hawkeye series from Matt Fraction, which was a great series. It won awards. It's been pretty much it's Hawkeye in the streets, literally his neighborhood, his complex. We get to see Kate Bishop learn more from him. She's actually the more responsible one of the two. And looks like Disney Plus is going to be going that route. I mean, it's a great series if you've never read it. Have you read that one, Manimal?
The Matt Fraction one?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. But I did read all the Young Avengers stuff. I love that. I loved Young Avengers when it first came out.
That we're going to get to that later, actually. But let's talk about young Kate Bishop here, because I have a feeling this book is going to be coming up a lot. Because you know what? When we talked about this, there's been other reports, and we've been talking about this for a while, that a Young Avengers was coming to, and we thought it was going to be the big screen, but it looks like that. What's his name? Kevin Feige has heisted another show, and this Young Avengers reports are saying that it's going to be on Disney Plus, which is a great thing because guess who? You know what? Young Avengers, Kate Bishop. What do they have in common, Justin? Boom. That's what they have in common. What is the pricing on this?
I mean, you guys can see this. We are looking at 9.8s. Like you said, it's unbelievable. This book is only $249 and a 9.8. You got tons of first appearances. The news dropped at San Diego Comic-Con, and this book is still not hotter than that. I'm surprised. But as you can see, there are 3 different versions to get. There's the regular cover, which is shown right now in that 9.8. There is a director's cut, which doesn't sell for that much, only $140. GPA is $136. But there is that Wizard World Comic-Con
I have it.
Yes, you do. I've seen that.
I do. Signed by Jim Chung, one of my favorite artists too, man. I got it in that's one of those comics I had already in a 9.8. And I was like, oh man, all right. So I took a chance and I cracked it and had him sign it and slap it, and it still came back in 9.8. I was like, oof, awesome. Man,
tempting fate there.
Right.
That could have been the kiss of death, because normally I have bad luck with that. So the gods were in my favor that day. I know this sounds like hyperbole, but yes, Young Avengers could be this generation or era's giant size X-Men. And I don't mean that as far as pricing, but I mean, there's 4 first appearances in it. I mean, there's Wiccan, Iron Page, Iron Lad, Hulkling, and somebody else, man. Patriot. Yeah. I mean, the stories are, Kate Bishop too, but she's not even Hawkeye yet, which is interesting. We'll talk about that later. But this is one of those great books. And like, when I was Justin looked it up, and then I looked, I was like, that can't be right. The pricing is, that's pretty damn cheap, man. I mean, there's a ton. That's why there's a ton of the print run is pretty damn high on these. But that's why that Wizard World LA variant is so hot, because there is no Wizard World LA anymore. You're not going to get that. And basically, it's the same cover except for it's a black and white sketch variant. And that's why, but I think that's where they're going, man. They can build up a whole team of them. They could be, eventually. I mean, we'll talk about it later, Manimal, in the comics, because I remember reading that one. Was a Children's Crusade, which is another great story, and how they intertwine with like the Avengers. I mean,
after the House of M stuff, and
Jim Chung just absolutely kills the art on it. I mean, on all of the, because he did not only did the covers, but he did the internals as well.
Yeah, it was a great run, man. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you can find. I mean, they're selling the runs now, and then they're, they've been sprinkled out throughout the Marvel universe, and as far as the comics, But I can see them. It came to a point where they're like, all right, you're not Young Avengers anymore. You're just Avengers now. But I think it's a great way for them to put something on there to get the young people involved. You know what I mean? Because people are kind of tired. If you're a teen and you just keep on seeing old ass, Tony Stark, and even Captain America's getting old. You need to get some fresh blood. I mean, it's a chance that they take. But look at the chick they got to play Kate Bishop, right? I thought she was great in Bumblebee. I really enjoyed. Arguably one of the best Transformers movies they've ever made is Bumblebee.
No, I agree. Being a Transformers guy, I 100% agree on that. And I mean, she even voiced Gwen Stacy Spider-Gwen in the Spider-Verse movie. That thing won an Oscar. She was great in that show. I'm sure she'll be back for the second one.
And she's like a quarter Filipino, man. She's got the hoppa in her. That's why she's so hot. Us part Asians, man. We don't age. We're like gingers in a way, but we have souls. How gingers don't age.
Easy there. All
right, man. On to the next news, and this is actually something my man Mikey Sutton had dropped, and then we got some more details from it from the Black Knight, man. Mikey Sutton reports that Moon Knight will be the MCU version of the Dark Knight. So think of Dark Knight Batman, but with a mystical backdrop. Bad guys being discussed for the series are Dormammu, Bushman, Morpheus, and somebody named Stained Glass Scarlet. I have no idea who
it's a mouthful.
Yes, but I mean, we all know Dormammu, which is Doctor Strange's kind of antagonist, and this is a hot book. What kind of pricing you got on this, Justin?
I mean, as you can see, last sold was 9.6, and what's interesting, that means there's no 9.8s out there. But this book is definitely hot. $2,100 back in February, this thing sold for, and then in January, a 9.2 sold for $975. So again, there's no 9.4s out there either. So good luck trying to find this in high grade.
I have 2 of them, and I can't get past the 6.0 because I was getting these when Doctor Strange was coming out. I knew Dormammu was going to be in it, so I was snagging them. And dude, they are hard to find in high grade.
Oh, I agree.
Obviously, I mean, it's the first appearance of Dormammu, but it's also the first appearance of Clea, and we spec that a while ago too. That making a Strange Tales Disney Plus series starring Brother Voodoo and Clea. I don't know if they're going to call him Brother Voodoo, though. That seems like a very kind of stereotypical thing from the 70s. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe
he's Voodoo, and brother kind of works with that. It's more like
maybe Dr. Voodoo. I mean, because we already know his brother already appeared in Doctor Strange #1. He got killed defending the Sanctum Sanctorum in New York City. So, I mean, that goes right in his kind of origin, right? Because Brother Voodoo's brother is a spirit that kind of hangs out with him. Of course, this is classic Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, man. So hopefully Pops Foster is in the live chat. He's been a collector for 60 years. I bet you he's got multiple copies of this. But
gonna need to see that doctorate if they're gonna call him Dr. Voodoo, bro. Okay, you don't just get that doctor.
Maybe, I don't know about Brother Voodoo. Maybe just Voodoo.
Voodoo could be just voodoo.
Maybe, yeah. The other one that they talked about, or that Mikey Sutton dropped, was Bushman. Now, I'll let you got any info on Bushman, because this is classic Moon Knight. This is classic Doug Moench and Bill Sienkiewicz. I know I pronounced Sienkiewicz correctly. I think it's Moench, but this is basically the 1980 Moon Knight classic run, Fist of the Khonshu, and Bushman is probably the biggest arch enemy of Moon Knight, right? What do you got on that, Manimal?
Yeah, he's like the origin story for him. So, in a nutshell, you had all these mercenaries out in Egypt or whatever. They come across some guy who's an archaeologist who's searching for this, buried treasure. Bushman is the bad guy of the crew, which consists of Mark Spector and Frenchie, which ends up being kind of like his right-hand man. And Bushman kills the archaeologist and kills Mark Spector, or hurts him, which then Mark Spector becomes Moon Knight from the Khonshu. Is that how we're pronouncing it?
Yeah, Fist of the Khonshu, yeah.
So, yeah, he's pretty much like the origin story villain. They were buddies. They were war buddies, but one broke bad. They probably weren't even that good of friends, but Bushman was always an asshole.
Because Frenchie is in the current run, which I don't
most
like.
Runs. He's usually like a supporting. He's like his Alfred, pretty much.
Yeah, and there you go. Jacob Jakubik says Brother Voodoo is currently called Dr. Voodoo in the comics, and I remember I have a variant actually that says Dr. Voodoo. It's a variant
Dr. Voodoo for a while, but like I said, man, where's the doctorate? I need to see the certificate.
Oh, you want to see receipts?
Yeah, where did he go to med school?
Dude, in Haiti. Where else did the voodoo doctors go to school, man?
You lose that over here.
Yeah, man. So you know what? There was some interesting pricing on this when I saw it. I was actually surprised because this book's been moving. Because we all know Werewolf by Night's been moving, but I'll be surprised. Justin, what kind of sales data we got on this?
Well, yeah, like you said, last sold was for $310 and a 9.8, but the GPA on 90-day GPA is only 205, which means that this book was lower before San Diego Comic-Con, and now it's on the upward spiral. So, and then even 9.6 is, again, it's a Bronze Age modern book, 104 for a 9.6, but 90-day GPA was a little over that, 107. So that guy who bought it for 104 got it for a good price.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure as soon as the D23 news dropped, everybody was Werewolf by Night 32. Forget about it. That boat has sailed. If you haven't gotten it already, then it's going to be up there. But everybody's snatching these up. They're snatching up the Finch run, which is another. That one is pretty damn good. That one is like violent freaking Moon Knight.
That's the Charlie Huston run. Yeah,
man.
That's my favorite. I think that's volume 3. It's an amazing run. I think it came out in like 2005, 2006. And it's actually like where he's been, they don't retcon him. He's actually like not Moon Knight anymore. And then he becomes Moon Knight again. He's kind of like lost the powers of Khonshu and he's getting them back. Bushman shows up in that. The art, like you said, the Finch artwork.
Oh, the Finch got
phenomenal.
Incredible.
It makes it so great.
Those covers.
They got that
amazing.
bloody fist variant that Finch did. That's some of those covers, like the first, I don't know. There's so many volumes of Moon Knight, man. It's just they don't know what to do with the character. But before I get too carried away, man, I want to give a shout out to they reached out to me on Facebook and they asked if we can give them a shout out, and we're going to get them on the show. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. It's a group called Comics in the Classroom, and they're based out of Florida. Basically, what she does is she teaches kids how to read by using comic books, man. And they're purely off of, they've been using the same books over and over again. I was like, you know what? Let's see what we can do to get the community to donate some reader copies for these kids to learn how to read, right? I mean, so obviously it needs to be age appropriate. They're about 6th to 8th graders. So, no issues of Faust, please, and anything like that. But I'm pretty sure we all have reader copies sitting around that aren't doing anything. So what I'm going to get them on next week. I put the Facebook group in there. It's called Comics in the Classroom. I'm going to have her on next week and interview her, tell her what she could do and how we can go about donating books to the cause and get all those reader copies that you just got sitting around or throwing away and not doing anything, preferably runs of, so they can have completed stories. It kind of sucks to teach a kid how to learn how to read when it's just a single issue. Mm-hmm. Obviously, age appropriate. So I'll have them on here next week. They're doing a great thing. Cause I remember I talked about it on Tony Sanders that comics helped me read when I was a kid, right? I mean, I didn't know how to pronounce omnipotent, but I knew what it meant. I was saying omnipotent for like years and years till I heard actually somebody say
people saying that, so don't worry.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, for a while I was like, ooh, somebody said it's omnipotent. Gosh, darn, I've been saying omnipotent for the longest time. I had no idea, man. So shout out to Comics in the Classroom. We'll try to get him on next week. Probably a separate day than my man MC Word Burglar, who's going to be on. It's going to be dope. Can't wait for Word Burglar, man. He's going to slide up in there probably a good 30, 45 minutes. He's going to talk about his new album, talk about his rap career, both his influences in comic books and in rap game. And then he'll maybe hang out and talk about some stuff, man. So it's going to be a good thing. Let's go up to the next thing. Let's go over some of the other villains that have been talked about that are going to be appearing. We went through Dormammu, Bushman, and this one, I you know what? I straight up tell you, man, I don't know who it is. I don't know who they are, but we got the issues, and these may be some books to get. Both of these villains are going to be appearing in the Moon Knight series from what we're getting from the Black Knight report. Moon Knight number 12 is the first appearance of Morpheus. And Moon Knight 14 is the first appearance of some crazy chick named Stained Glass Scarlet. I had no idea who these people were, but you know what? We got some sales data on it, and it's hardly anything, so they're cheap. What is it, Justin?
The Moon Knight 12, which is first Morpheus. I mean, you're looking at 9.8s for $181 was last sold. Dropping that down to a 9.6 sold for $50.
That's shocking to me that it went even that high, dude. Somebody knows something.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. You know, someone's buying up these books, and then here it is for the Moon Knight 14, the last one that sold for $38 back in July 2015. But a 9.6 recently sold for $81. So you can tell that people are looking for this book, and they're getting it more now than they were years ago. So there's no other 9.8s out there.
Yeah, and as we always say, Kevin Feige likes to stick to the comic book storylines. These Bushman, Morpheus, Stained Glass Scarlet, all of that. And the only thing that's tying them to the supernatural world is Dormammu. Remember, they're doing all the Egyptian kind of mystical stuff. They're staying away from the crazy version that's out there now, which is whack. I don't like Moon Knight in a 3-piece suit, but
it's horrible. Well, Morpheus is a good character of supernatural. He's the only one out of these two I was familiar with. And he actually has a lot of tie with Moon Knight lore, whereas he's tied in with Moon Knight's like love interest, Marlene. Her brother is a doctor who actually like creates Morpheus, which basically like gives him some serum where he becomes he doesn't sleep, and he has like telekinesis, and he can bond with Moon Knight, and he kind of has like his sleep energy is like psionic, if you will, and it just like he pushes it out there, and he's kind of got that like demon monster looking feel to him. But both these characters look as like, if you look at like the Netflix shows, these are like the mid-season villains. You know what I mean? They're like one-offs.
Like Typhoid Mary.
Scarlet kind of seems like she could be more of a like working with Moon Knight. Like she's a little bit more aggressive, vigilante aspect where
I don't think she's really a villain. I think she's actually
she's a murderer though. But so she could be like a foil to him, kind of
like Typhoid Mary, really. Yeah. I mean, she has some kind of weird connection with them where they can she doesn't have superpowers, but she has like some type of sonic or mental connection with Moon Knight. So, you know, I'm really glad they're going like full flowing Cape Moon Knight, Dark Knight version. I'm glad they weren't saying people are going to say it's a Batman ripoff, because if it does well, people are going to, and right now there is no Batman movie. So, you know, Marvel can do whatever they want for the next 2 years or 3 years, or, you know, but yeah, that's Scarlet. I mean, it's interesting. That whole Moon Knight run is pretty good. We're talking, you know, Doug Moench, who also created Moon Knight in Werewolf by Night number 32, but Bill Sienkiewicz absolutely killed it. He's still killing it to this very day, man. Sienkiewicz, it's in his Twitter. That's how you say it. Let's go to the next story on here, man. And that's it for the Black Knight report. But guess what we got for you, boys and girls? We got a long-term spec list. And this one, I was hesitant to put this one on here, but it's a cool character, and it's still a book that's hot and you should get anyway. But what I'm hearing about the Hawkeye series, they're going full on Fraction. They're going to put in the dog. That's right. Lucky the Pizza Dog is going to be featured in the Hawkeye series. And the reason I put this cover on it is because it's badass. But that's the Adegranov variant for Hawkeye number 1. The regular variant, if you've seen it, there's like 5 prints of it. It's the white cover with him standing up on like a building. But what's the sales date on this? I mean, it's still pretty cheap.
Yeah, it's a pretty cheap book. I mean, you're looking at 9.8 sold for $80. GPA on that is $83. But yeah, like you said, man, that Adi Granava, that was a 1 in 25 variant. The last 9.8 sold for $80, but that's 4 years ago, July 2015. I mean, I wish I would have picked this book up. But
I think this book is going to get hot once the Hawkeye series pick up, and we already, if they're going to be putting Kate Bishop in it, Hawkeye, and damn Lucky the Pizza Dog in it, dude, they're doing the Fraction run. I mean, because that Fraction run is pretty damn good. I mean, if you don't know, he basically owns a building in New York City, and there's some Euro mobsters that, the typical tracksuit wearing guys, and he's fighting them. There's some one-offs, but basically like the day in the life of an Avenger when he's not off saving the world, But it did Hawkeye good.
Very grounded, which Hawkeye should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it did him well, because people are always, it's like in Age of Ultron where he goes, look, we're going out there to fight for the world, and I got a bow and arrow, as he tells Scarlet Witch, right? And that's that's him in a nutshell, to put it.
And Jeremy Renner is just such a great actor, and he's good at doing like the comedy subtly. Like he will play well with a young female protege. They can play off the whole aspect of, Black Widow and him had this bond, and now he has another woman that he's bonding with. Probably sees a little bit of her in there. And he's also probably trying to feel a little bit of like his daughter aspect and make up for the death of Black Widow. I think it's going to be great, man.
Yeah. Shout out to my man Otto, who's somehow in the live chat. Well, I thought he was working today.
He's probably got the YouTube right next to the bar.
Oh, man. Look at him. See, look, he can't even, he's at the bar, and he's, you know what, Otto, while you're at the bar, you should be putting us on the TV screens for all the people at the bar, and then they'll get drunk and throw shit at the screen, and then you have to buy.
Share that.
Any news on Excalibur? No, I mean, we broke it last week. I mean, it's in development. When we get these things that are being reported and talked about, it's not like they're going to be saying it immediately. There's so much stuff I read a report that somebody said that there's 10 more Disney Plus shows that they haven't talked about yet. So think about all the things that we talked about that hasn't been made public yet by Marvel Studios. Is there a Marvel's TV Studios announcement in October? I don't know, but I'll ask the Black Knight. I'm assuming you mean like a thing they did for phase 3, right? Or phase 2 when they went out of movie studio. So, I don't know. I would think if anything, there should be a Hulu announcement soon. And October is New York Comic-Con. I don't think that's big enough for them to make any large, and maybe,
definitely. If Marvel's there, they can do it.
We're still waiting for the Hulu news to drop, all the supernatural stuff. But
so the first Marvel thing doesn't come out till what, March of 2020, and that's the Hawkeye show.
November. November is when Disney Plus launches, and it's going to launch.
The first Marvel doesn't.
Yeah.
I think it's either Winter Soldier and Falcon or What If.
Winter
Soldier. Yeah, I think What If is for sure coming, and maybe Winter Soldier or Falcon are going to be the first ones. But they're going to go with the ground running November 12th. So they're going to have everything on there, and they're definitely going to launch with a Marvel show. I'm pretty sure a Disney show for I think was a high school. Mandalorian too, dude.
Mandalorian. Everyone's waiting for that Mandalorian.
So I think what the word is, we're still waiting if it's going to be, did they already come out and say it's going to be weekly, or they're going to put them all up at once?
No, it's weekly.
Yeah. So there you go. That a lot of us like to build momentum, like to build things up. And you know what, having it weekly does, it also gives water cooler talk, right? Because it's hard to have water cooler talk when one dude is watching the entire series and you're only 3 episodes in, what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
true.
It's good for reviews too, because now people can do like weekly reviews and wait till the next one. Because it sucks when Netflix had it and they reviewed, here's the first 3 episodes. Tomorrow, watch me review the next 3 episodes. And by that time, I think it's good for Marvel to keep from things from being spoiled, because they don't like people spoiling stuff like we do. As I said that, I'm just thinking, wait a second. Next up on the long-term spec list is something that we've all talked about, and we're kind of just expecting it to drop, man. But we're getting word that Kevin Feige has put Super Skrull onto the long-term spec list. I probably should have prefaced this all by saying the long-term spec list is the list that the studios put a reserve on characters that they want to use. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have their own solo film or series, but that they want to use them in either a TV series or one of the movies. So we're getting word on the long-term spec list that Super Skrull, that's Super Skrull. Because I'm very specific when I say this Super Skrull, Klart, or whatever his name is, Kalart, or whatever, is the first Super Skrull, but there's been numerous iterations of Super Skrulls. There was even a Super Skrull that had all the powers of the Illuminati, but the OG Super Skrull, had the superpowers of the Fantastic Four, and you are going to be kind of shell-shocked when you see the pricing on this.
Oh, man, I've been looking for that book for a while, man. It's tough to find. It's been a spec book for a while.
Yeah,
it's a great book. You're talking in the teens for the Fantastic Four books. I mean, both of these books and then High Grade sold in 2015. I can't even imagine what those prices would be like 4 years later. I mean, $9,000 for a 9.4 in 2015.
What's good?
What's the inflation on that?
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, we know that these have been put on a name on the reserve list by Kevin Feige. So let me preface this by saying Lucky the Dog was being put a reserved on for Disney Plus. Super Skrull is being put a reserved on for film. So that means Kevin Feige is putting a reserve on this one. Kevin Feige put a reserve on Lucky the Dog, which is no big deal, but I think it's a cool comic, right? I mean, you know, because the dog is a big part of the series. And, you know, I'm a big dog guy. So anytime you could push dogs, Crypto the dog, whatever dog, man, even the dog in Doctor Strange, when he got killed, man, I was kind of sad, man. That was messed up, man. But he came back in like this crazy kind of hound dog or kind of spirit. Have you guys read the current run of Doctor Strange with this dog that talks? Pretty awesome, man.
How about Cosmo? You a big Cosmo fan?
Oh yeah, man, with the crazy Russian accent, dude. Yeah. I read it when I read Cosmo.
Yeah.
I have a crazy Russian accent in my head when I read it. I don't know, it's kind of crazy. When I read certain things and I know what that person sounds like, I read it in their voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they also write it like it's easy to. He's one of those characters where they write his accent where it's very easy to read it that way.
They want to drink the vodka. Yeah. My name is Nick the Brick. I'm a Russian figure skater. Like that. Yeah. I actually worked with a Russian dude and he was really tough, right? And his name was Nick Swartman. He was from like hardcore communist Russia. And this was like in the early 90s. And he goes, call me Nick the Brick. I said, Nick the Brick. He goes, yeah. I said, what'd you do in Russia? He goes, I used to skate. Oh, you played hockey? He goes, no. I was a male figure skater. I was like, and you want me to call you Nick the Brick? All right, man. Well, you know those Russians. If I know it's off track, but just go on YouTube and look for Russian car cams. They capture the craziest shit you will ever see on YouTube. The stuff that they catch on there's meteors, there's fights, there's a dude with a bear in the back of a motorcycle, man, all kinds of crazy stuff. But let's get next to it, boys and girls. This book we already talked about. This one is being put on reserve for Disney Plus, and if we put 2 and 2 together, that tells me that Wiccan is going to be on I had it right here. I was setting it all up, man. Sorry. Wiccan is going to be in the Young Avengers because they put a hold on Wiccan. Wiccan is he was first appearance as Young Avengers #1. He was known as Asgardian. He didn't become Wiccan until like Young Avengers #6. And he's also the resurrected son of the Scarlet Witch.
Twin son.
I think the other one is Speed, right?
Speed, yeah.
Yeah, speak on that. I mean, the Young Avengers started and they went all kinds of. They got Kang.
Yeah, you had
Kang
all the.
Is one of them. Yeah,
you had all the guys, obviously, like representing the original Avengers. You had the Hulk, which was Hulkling, and you had Asgardian Wiccan. But what really was, he had no ties to Asgard, and he was just magic. He had ties with, just like from his mother, from Scarlet Witch. But then the whole convoluted story between him and Wiccan, that was back when she thought she had children with Vision, and Mephisto tricked her, and then they went away, and apparently they didn't go away. It was retconned, and they've always been alive. But I mean, yeah, Wiccan and Hulkling. I mean, they're not going to make a Young Avengers without those two characters. There's too much.
This has been put a reserve on Wiccan, so this tells me that he's going to be on before the Young Avengers, and my guess is he'll be in either WandaVision or in Doctor Strange because he has the mystical power. He has spell casting abilities.
Yeah, WandaVision for sure. If they have both him and Vision, it could show something like that.
Yeah, so what's interesting is he is on the reserve list, like specifically Wiccan. I mean, not the Young Avengers. We know Young Avengers is coming, but I'm thinking Wiccan is going to come first before the rest of them. So they're going to use him, and it says Wiccan is going to be part of Disney Plus. So that tells me it can be. Sounds like either WandaVision or maybe even it appears in the Hawkeye series. He gets to know Kate Bishop because Kate Bishop was actually. She wasn't a Young Avenger in the first one, right? I mean, they eventually brought her in.
She actually is the only character who's been on every iteration of the Young Avengers. Is Kate Bishop?
Isn't she a better marksman than Hawkeye or Clint Barton?
I think they have argued that at points, but who knows?
Yeah, I like the ultimate version of Clint Barton, but basically anything he holds becomes a weapon. Like he could throw like pencil. Yeah, he's basically like Bullseye, but
he was he was sadistic too. Like he was kind of a bad dude.
Yeah. Next up is a book that we actually spec'd a while ago, man, like 4 months ago, we said, watch out, we're hearing that he's coming. And sure enough, there's been a reserve for him for TV. So that tells you it's either ABC or FX. We said in the Dakota North series, they want to use Dominic Fortune. Yes, Dominic Fortune. Dude, you know why? I just get to show off this awesome book, dude. Marvel Preview #2. Dominic Fortune appeared in a backup story created by the great Len Wein and Howard Chaykin in 1975. We all know this Punisher cover, but how many of us knew that the first appearance of Dominic Fortune, who's kind of this crazy mercenary spy cat that, you know, has been around for a while? I mean, what's the sales data on this? I don't know if I have a graphic, to be honest with you. I was crazy doing graphics all day, but what kind of pricing data you got on this?
I mean, hey, a 9.8 last sold for $950. You're
Whoa.
looking at 12-month GPA is 933. I mean, even 9.6 is for a 1975 book. 1975, it's $466, and that was in April.
Yeah.
For 9.
So here, Richie Taylor's right. This is actually the first origin of the Punisher, and that's probably why the pricing is so high in this. This is the first time they told the origin, and this is obviously this is a magazine size, so it's really hard to find in a 9.8. But this is double spec. Origin is Punisher. It's also the first appearance of Dominic Fortune, man. Go Google some pictures.
That's a high price tag for first appearance of Dominic Fortune.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's early Punisher. I mean, it's outside the Punisher series. I mean, you remember, 1975. I mean, there wasn't many Punisher. Remember, the Punisher only really started getting hot in the 80s, right? Yeah. With Punisher War Journal, with Jim Lee was doing it. So, I mean, back then, Punisher stories were kind of scarce. He popped up in Spider-Man and Daredevil every now and then, but this is 1975. This is kind of crazy that we're talking, because you think about the first Punisher came out in Amazing Spider-Man 129, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like right in the middle of the Bronze Age. And then you got this great. I just think this is a great book, man. I love these magazine size kind of one-offs, kind of weird stuff. JLS Comics, look at that, dropping some knowledge, saying that, did you know he's based on Atlas Comics the Scorpion? I'm assuming he meant Dominic Fortune and not the Punisher, right, JLS? Because that would be weird. So that one is on a spec list for TV. That has been on the reserve list for TV. There's not many options for TV when it comes to Disney. It's either ABC or Hulu. My guess is ABC, because remember,
didn't you say FX also?
Yeah, FX. That's what we were told that the Netflix series were going to end up on, which is perfect, right? But when we first found out about Dominic Fortune was when we found out that ABC was developing a Dakota North TV series, and he would fit in that world. But that's interesting. Next up is, I don't even know why we're actually putting this on there, because I mean it's coming, it's going to be used, and it's an expensive ass book. But where is my graphic? I must have ran out. But anyway, we're finding out on the long-term spec list that Black Bolt has been reserved for movies. That gives you, that means there's rumors about an Inhumans being rebooted. But this tells you if they're only reserving Black Bolt, that means that it's going to be Black Bolt making an appearance by himself in the movies. In the comics, in FF45, it's funny because the first person to get it, I believe, introduced was Crystal. She meets Johnny Storm, right? Johnny Storm is always falling in love and getting heartbroken. He hooks up with Crystal, and then he meets the rest of the Inhumans. But what's the sales data on, just for shits and giggles, man? What is the price of the FF45, the first appearance of the Black Bolt? I
mean, we don't have a graphic to show you, but let me tell you this. A 9.8 sold in 2017 for $32,000.
Holy
You know what? You know what would be great information is then tell us what the low sale was like right after that show, because that book bombed right after that show bombed.
No, this is recent sales data. So this is all after
2017. Yeah. So this was before. When was the show?
Around 2017.
Yeah, so this could have been before it.
Yeah, because there's sales data on it. Because I think after they realized when Disney was doing all this stuff now that but that, man, even when the show came out, the book bombed, but I mean, that's still a great book to have. I mean, there's been recent rumors that they want to reboot the Inhumans, but now we're finding out that there's a long-term, that Kevin Feige is putting Black Bolt on the reserve list, which is interesting, just Black Bolt, not the rest of the Inhumans, which meaning they may have something planned for the Inhumans separately. I'm not saying there's going to be a Black Bolt solo film, but this could also mean that Kevin Feige wants to use Black Bolt in one of those movies, perhaps Illuminati.
Perhaps Ms. Marvel.
Maybe. Everybody forgot about, the Illuminati. Black Bolt was the silent strong type in there. Another one on the long-term spec list is coming to Disney Plus, and this one is kind of easy too. You guys should have bought it already because the show was already made and they had nowhere to put it. But we're finding that they're finally putting New Warriors on a reserve list for Disney Plus. So it sounds like if we put all the information we know about the New Warriors show, they made some episodes. They couldn't find a place for it. Wait, this is all before the Disney Fox deal. This is before Disney Plus was announced. This is when they were shopping it for, like, remember ABC Freeform and Hulu and all these different. They couldn't find a home for it. Well, looks like they finally put a reserve on it for Disney Plus. That tells, and it's not any specific one, the entire team of New Warriors. So I don't know if this is going to be the iteration with Squirrel Girl. She wasn't in the original team, but the original team is pretty goofy, man. And there are some interesting, this is that the whole Hulk 180, 181, but not quite as, the big disparaging, but it's a debate that you can have. What do we got on the sales data on the New Warriors? Oh, Night Thrasher.
Yeah, we totally talked about this on another iteration of this channel before something went awry. But I mean, as you can see, a Thor 411 last sold for $163, but a Thor 412 sold for $175. So that's where, yes, the Hulk 180, 181 comes into play. But it's interesting because the GPA on the 9.6 is actually higher than the GPA on the 9.8. So why is that? Because more people are finding 9.6s. But again, it's a modern book, guys. You should have this in the collection. I'm sure I've seen this on a wall. It's not even in walls on anymore. I've usually seen it in long boxes. You could find this book.
Yeah, I got both of them. So I mean, also
it was great, dude. The New Warriors original run, that's one of the best 90s runs, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, New Warriors are really giant part of Civil War, right? I mean, they were the ones that were fighting that guy and that blew up the entire city.
They did like a whole reality TV show. That was what they talked about the TV show being about, was like they were going to be like take that kind of storyline of them reality TV and how they got out of control, and then Nitro was just way out of their league and blew up the town. Yeah.
So remember the first iteration was the hot chick that was AT&T girl, and she was going to be Squirrel Girl, and they were going to make it a comedy. So I don't know if that's still it, because here's the interesting, that girl that played Squirrel Girl, she's at every Marvel premiere, man. Even though
she's the voice actor for Squirrel Girl in the animated.
Yeah. So I mean, it's got a reserve on it. So hopefully it finally found a home. It's supposed to be funny. So, I'm on Disney Plus. I'm going to be sure they're going to have stuff like Falcon Winter Soldier. It's a bit serious, when they're going to have stuff for kids. And then, you got Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur. You got Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which we kind of halfway spec'd correctly. But, speaking of which, I don't have any Sony Disney news. So just stay tuned. As soon as I get it, trust me, as soon as I get it, it won't be on a Wednesday show. I'll come in live straight from work and I'll just do it. We'll go live. We'll do it. And that's it, man. We'll answer some questions here and there. Manimal, what you got going on, man? What's the future of Manimal? What are you going to be doing on the YouTubes or new comic book reviews? You're going to be doing it on the Lord's channel? Where are you going to do it?
I don't know yet. I mean, we've talked a little bit, you and I, about some things. As of now, not planning on doing my own channel right yet. Kind of enjoying some of my free time coming back to me. Has been very nice.
Word.
Enjoying
there's such a thing as social media burnout. I will say that. I mean, I did
reading all my books and not having to crush like 20 books in a Tuesday afternoon, which is nice. But,
here's what I saw a lot of when I posted this on the Facebook. I seen a lot of people ask, they were like, "Hey, what's your opinions on Powers of X and House of X?" I say, if you want to do it after the run is done, you come on the show and you can do your own segment, your own video. I won't ask you about it. You come on, go solo, and you can do a review of the entire series as opposed to a week by week book.
I would love to. People keep asking me about both those, Powers of 10 and House of X, and I'm just like, look, you kind of need to wait until it's done. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of, look, the best way to describe it, there's a lot of Hickman. Okay.
Yeah.
Hickman storylines don't make any sense until the end, if at all. So,
and then you still got to read it all over again.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
we were talking about that. Like DarkSide Jedi was like, "Hey, I want to get into some I was like, dude, just make sure you read it like 3 times over, and then you get it. Like, all the new Avengers, the Fantastic Four stuff, great stuff, but very heady, right? You got like a lot of times you can just flip through a comic, and then you're like, wait a second, let me go back. What did I miss? So
what is great about Hickman though is you can tell he's kind of a bit of a fanboy. Like he touches on like archives, like he goes into the archives on stories and brings up characters that no one really thinks about and makes them like a minor character into like a bigger character, which is kind of cool. So
yeah. Well, so hey, after the video post, leave a comment if you want to see Manimal come on and do a review of whatever. If you want to come on this channel, you can do it. We'll just let you kind of roam free and review whatever you want. So if you have the venue, but I would say a lot of people we don't review new comics a lot, so I think that would be a great segment for this show. But I would say, like you said, like a weekly review, I don't think is. I think story arcs, when the story arc is done, then you can kind of encapsulate it. Like you said, you read 2 comics, but after 10 you're like,
right, there's a little more to talk about.
Yeah, so I think that's Benny Blanco asked, Manimal, did you like The Boys, the TV show?
Yeah, I really did, and I was kind of skeptical a little bit because I read The Boys prior to watching the show, and I was like, how are they going to adapt this shit is graphic and adult and very racy, you know what I mean? And then I did like The Boys. I think my only complaint, and I'm trying to keep this spoiler free, is when The Boys, the book starts, the boys already knew each other. And in The Boys, the TV show, it kind of, they're meeting each other. And that felt a little slow to me. But I did kind of feel like Highlander or, Homelander stole the show. That actor killed it, man. So,
oh, yeah. They had everything but the dog fucking everything.
Yeah, right.
Right. In the comic, that dog was a little horn dog, man. Eddie Gomez asked, any news about Hercules? No. Any news about Spider-Man? No. I told you there are some things that are brewing right now, but we're gonna wait to find out. There's a lot of stuff that's happening right now, so and a lot of news out there. So we're trying to get the news accurate before we talk about it. But there is definitely some things in motion, and it's moving in different directions.
How about Nova? You were talking about New Warriors, and now with Nova, Nova being a founding member of New Warriors.
It's funny that you said that because no, they are attaching Nova and they're riding him like the human rocket that he is. He's not going to.
They definitely put him in New Warriors. That's a waste.
I've been specking on the Nova miniseries that has the first appearance of Nova in the World Mind. I think that's the iteration that's coming on the big screen.
Annihilation Run, yeah,
exactly. There's it's like a 5-issue miniseries where he first meets the World Mind, and then he kind of becomes Supernova or Nova Prime, where he's kind of, and that always reminds me of Knight Rider and Kit. Like the voice in his helmet reminds me of Kit talking to him. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's when he's like uber powerful. He has basically all the powers of the Nova Corps, and that's when he's the most badass.
It's great because Nova prior to that, to the Annihilation Run, was kind of he wasn't really part of the Nova Corps. He just did his own thing. And at the start of that run, he goes back to Xandar, and they basically kind of treat him like shit. They're like, who are you, rookie? You haven't even been here. We don't care about your exploits on Earth. And then everyone gets destroyed, and he's the last man standing.
Yeah. So the World Mind finds him, and it's kind of very Green Lantern-ish as far as finding him and imbuing him with power. Saifu asks, is Jeff Loeb still reporting to Ike Perlmutter? Any changes to TV and film division? No, but they are playing with Marvel Studios now. So Jeff Loeb and Kevin Feige are not, in disagreement anymore, as was reported way back when. They are Disney. Bob Iger said, look, we got this giant sandbox. You guys need to all play together because we can truly make a giant connected universe now. So, Jeff Loeb is still doing the TV stuff for Hulu and FX and ABC. Kevin Feige is doing the MCU, and he's doing Disney Plus, most of it. I don't think he's gonna be hands-on on the first wave, which is like all the MCU films. And then the second wave of stuff, he'll be like executive producer where he oversees it, but not the showrunner. I mean, that's just too much stuff for him. That's why Sony flat out lied when they said, when the Sony picture CEO said, Kevin Feige just doesn't have enough time for Spider-Man. Bullshit. That is the biggest bull crap. Kevin Feige makes time for Spider-Man. He loves Spider-Man. This is one of his favorite characters. So when the Sony CEO came out and said Kevin Feige doesn't have enough time to make Spider-Man done right, dude, did you see how well Far From Home came out? I mean, he likes it. This is always interesting. We'll let all of us chime in on this one. Hey, what's your opinion on the first appearance versus cameo of i.e. Wolverine and Hulk? Can't remember the actual issue numbers. Well, that would be Hulk 181 and 180. I have my opinions on this. What about you, Manimal? What are your feelings on the cameo and first appearance of Wolverine?
Well,
I think we know what he's going to
181, baby. That's my opinion. So
Here's my opinion on it is our opinion really doesn't matter. It's
No,
what
the
the market exactly. It's the market has decided this long ago. No matter what anybody says, it's Hulk 181. When everybody's bought up Hulk 181, they'll spend a little pennies and they'll get one Hulk 180, but it'll always be the side chick to the main chick, which is Hulk 181. I mean, you can go on. There's a lot of other things whenever they change things. I mean, Spider-Man 2099. All right, you can do that as what's a first appearance, and also sometimes people are like, well, this is the first time they appeared in the comic, but it's a preview of what's gonna come, and that's sometimes the first appearance. I mean, if you really want it, you could do Venom too. You could do Amazing Spider-Man 299 and 300, right? I mean, really, he appeared in 299. He's a full fucking panel on the end of 299, but 300
does that too. X Factor 5 and 6.
What's the Jimmy Olsen book and the Forever People book? DarkSide, right?
DarkSide. Yeah.
Which ones? I mean, we can go on what's considered a cameo and what's considered a first appearance. And I'd like to bring CGC on here just because they're the ones that put on the labels, right?
Well, what's the Manimal? You read what's it, Powers of X or House of X? They actually say Wolverine's first appearance in the book is Hulk 180, right?
in the book they say that?
In those books, there's like pages, and I think it's on the back. It has all the different first appearances of all the characters, and it actually says that Wolverine is 180, and it actually says Archangel is X-Men 3. Yeah, it's really interesting.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember seeing that.
Well, I'm gonna have to look through my issues now. Are you talking about all those like crazy graphs that they have? Am I supposed to be paying attention to that?
I mean, someone in the live chat definitely, back me up, but it does say Hickman said Hulk 180. It's in there.
Well, I'm looking at those books right now, like I can see through the plastic bags and boards and read what you're talking about. I'm gonna have to look at that, man. But you know what though? That's I don't know. That's the same thing. Like TiVo said. Think about the first appearance of Gambit. Chronologically, that annual 14 came out first, and he was just sitting in the back of the crowd. His head was there. In terms of publication, that came out first. So what are we really going off? You know,
my thing has always been the cameo is a character, but they're not named. They can even speak, but if they're not referenced by name, that it's considered a cameo. First appearance to me has always been this is blah blah blah, and they're introduced. That's been but now it's been changed so long, and unfortunately, it's really what Overstreet used to say. Not so much anymore, but now what CGC, CBCS, people look at the labels and they'll go off what's a cameo, what's a full appearance. But most of the time, it's another example is X-Men 120, 121, right? First cameo and first full appearance of Alpha Flight, which is a hot book now. We told you the Alpha Flight's coming, but any predictions and scoops on the first lineup of the MCU X-Men? My guess is it's going to be like original X-Men is my guess. I'm not going off anything, but I don't think they're going to be going Wolverine quite yet. I think they're going to go like original X-Men could be. What do you guys think?
I would love to see that. I think the best lineup to do is, unfortunately, and I'm being a classic X-Men guy, I would love to see original X-Men, but I say you just jump right into giant size X-Men. That way you get a little bit of everything. You get the new X-Men, the international team rescuing the old X-Men. So you get your Cyclops, you get your Jean Grey. They don't have to be focal points of the story. They're basically damsels in distress.
And we get Thunderbird.
You get everyone else.
Maybe they don't kill Thunderbird yet.
Actually, so in this recent issue of Powers of 10, bit of a spoiler, Thunderbird, I don't know, man. Anytime they reference Thunderbird, there was kind of a big reference to him this week, and you might be seeing a little bit more of him coming up.
I need to catch up. I'm like on issue 2 right now, but I'm kind of the type of person that I want to get like 6 issues in so I can just read them back to back. Like
you said with Hickman, you have to read it that way because it's so confusing. I mean, I read East of West for Image. I can't understand that until I go back and read like 3 issues prior.
Yeah. King Nick says, I want Kitty Pryde Disney Plus series with Millie Bobby Brown. You are getting Kitty Pryde, but she's going to be in Excalibur. We dropped that last week that in the Excalibur series is going to be Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde, Captain Britain, led by Kit Harington and the Black Knight. So MI13, all that good stuff, man. That's coming, man. Because, you get a big actor like Kit Harington coming off of Game of Thrones. You don't throw him in, here's just a little spot in Eternals. Nope. They're going to just branch off, do that whole UK thing, contrary to what Grace Randolph says. I just love debunking her any chance that I get. Let's see what else we got. If you got any questions for your Manimal here, he reads 20 comic books a day, so he doesn't have any free time whatsoever. Let me see what else we got here. Just in the playback, nobody's gonna get this, but luckily, we can. I want to see a Wolverine versus Predator movie once they find their Wolverine actor. Last I heard, man, is the part has not been turned down by Hugh Jackman yet. So basically, Disney is holding out, to saying, "Hey, man, if you want the role, it's yours."
It's
so
tricky,
until
he's so old now that it's like you can't.
Old Man Logan, yeah. Is it safe to assume Mother Mold would be around the half size of Galactus? That would imagine regional Sentinel building size, Master Mold 3's building stacks, Mother Mold half size. I have no idea what that means. I believe that's a reference to statues.
No, Mother Mold it's what makes Master Molds, which Master Molds then make Sentinels. So Mother Mold is a big it's a big factor in this House of X right now. Oh,
okay. I was like, man, I haven't gotten that far yet. I've gotten to the part with Moira McTaggart, and there's some. I shouldn't be reading these late at night because I'm like, man, this is like Hickman all over again. It's good. That's why I want to go through it all. Let me see. Is Manimal? Have you been reading The Curse of the White Knight? If so, how you like it? From Symbiote Massacre.
It's cool, man. Batman White Knight was really fun. Have you ever read that one? The Batman White Knight?
Yeah.
I have it. I actually have it. I haven't read it yet.
It's good. It's a cool take on the Joker and the Jack Napier. And can he change himself? And Curse of the White Knight's just a sequel and kind of brings in more of the Azrael type stuff.
Yeah. This question here, right? This one I want to debunk. Well, Eddie Gomez asks Ronda Rousey should be the Hulk. No.
Ugh,
she can't even wrestle act. She's awful.
Talk.
Yeah. For the most part, Marvel Studios hires actors of pretty good ilk, right? Even when they took Drax, they made him a good actor, and they used him in the best to his ability. But Ronda Rousey is a rough actor.
Hard to watch.
Awful. She makes Gina Carano look like Meryl Streep. And man, Gina Carano's a lot better now, and she's going to be in The Mandalorian. How about that? But do you remember there was a movie that Gina Carano was in called Haywire or something? She was like a badass.
Yep. That was a good movie.
They digitally changed her voice in post-production. That's how bad her inflection was.
Really?
Because she was just starting off acting. She's really nice to look at. She's a badass. But it's really cool to see her in The Mandalorian, man. I'm really getting stoked about that, man. From the trailer, have you seen the trailer? What did your thoughts on the trailer, Manimal?
I thought it was dope. I'm a big Star Wars guy. I'm excited for it. I think I mentioned this. Maybe it was on Darth Castle. I mentioned this. I can't believe it's taken them this long to delve into the cinematic universe of Star Wars. It's crazy. What's a richer tapestry of storylines, and you've never done any side stories?
Well, here's the thing, though, is if they didn't have a platform to really put it on, now they have Disney Plus. Before, they could only really put it on the big screen, and that's where they have these big giant films. But now they have the sandbox they could do. They're doing Obi-Wan, Mandalorian. Right. Who knows? We heard a Mara Jade story. We heard they got to do Luke, right? Because there's a lot of time in between, Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens to tell stories, right?
There's a lot of time between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, where he just shows he's a Jedi Master all of a sudden. Where did he get the lightsaber, all that storyline? That's awesome stuff.
But that's why the Clone Wars is so awesome, and how when they just explain kyber crystals and how every Jedi had to go into this cave to get their own kyber crystal and then build your own lightsaber. I would love to go. I'm going to go back and watch because I believe the last season of the Clone Wars is going to be dropping on Disney Plus as well. Remember, there's one last season that they haven't finished yet. Because when I watched Rebels, at first I was like, yeah, but then when I finished Rebels, I was totally on board for the scene with Ahsoka Tano fighting Darth Vader. Dude, that was one of the best extended universe scenes ever. When she finally saw Anakin and for a brief moment, he remembered who she was. Dude, that was awesome.
Yeah, she sliced his metal plate and you kind of see his eye.
Yeah.
They fight it out. That is one of the best episodes on the
But
series.
in the Clone Wars prior to that, man, they described the Force in detail, and that's the only thing you could really do on a weekly series, right? You can't really do that in the movies where you have 2 hours, 2.5 hours. But now with the Mandalorian, you know what, to me, it's what George Lucas wanted. George Lucas was big influences were Akira Kurosawa and Westerns, right? So he really loved that aesthetic. And this is what it looks like. It looks like a freaking space Western is what, and they did it on purpose. And I think it looks absolutely gorgeous, man. That, you know, hopefully we don't get our hopes up too high. Let's see.
I wanted to go back to the She-Hulk. I had something I was going to ask you guys. Do you think it's necessary? Everyone's kind of fan casting She-Hulk as like these bigger, muscular women, but do you really need to? Look at Mark Ruffalo. That guy doesn't even have any bicep definition.
It's going to be, I think it's going to be CGI. I think it's going to be Jennifer Walters, like the lawyer, because it's going to be a show about her being a lawyer and her hulking out. So it's not going to be just totally green walking around all day long. I think they're going to go old school She-Hulk where she hulks out and becomes, you know, Savage She-Hulk. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, hiring some big buff actress just doesn't, you know, you can't. I just don't. I mean, now with Disney Plus money, we're talking about Game of Thrones level type acting. Oh, my phone's been calling me from work. All right, let's close it up, boys and girls. We're just running about an hour. Manimal, any last words?
No, I appreciate being on here. Thank you. Anytime you got an open spot, I'm always down to jump on. Love it on here. Love the guys on here. Thanks for everyone being in the chat, supporting. Hit that like button.
Hit that like, subscribe up. We're almost at 2,000. We're going to do another giveaway. The next giveaway is going to be KRS Comics and Geeky Swag Shop exclusives. We're almost there. So any last words, Justin?
Yeah, make sure you sub up 3 Men in the Basement. Check out my part 2 video of my comic sketch art that just dropped a couple days ago. And the comic swap for 3 Men in the Basement is next Saturday, the 21st. So check that out as well on our channel. And one last thing, the Lords are heading to Baltimore Comic-Con. Myself and Otto will be there in October. So news to come.
All right, come and make sure you see Otto and them. My work phone is blowing up. I got to go, boys and girls. So until next time, keep digging in them long boxes. Peace out.
Bust it. Shake and bake and pull it back.
Oh my God.